Hi, this is the intro to Walking Working Wallet. The reason I wrote this book is about 2 years ago I got fascinated with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and I started studying money. And then I realized that I didn't really know what money was. What is money, and is it money or a currency? So what I realized is that governments and corporations view individuals as walking, able to participate, working, which means they have a job, and a wallet, which means that the corporations and government can insert their hands into your pockets on a first come, first basis. So, this is a story about the perpetual redistribution of wealth. Where's my money? And I know it's a strange concept and we don't really think about it much, but my hope is that we can all educate ourselves and start keeping more of our money. And when I say money, I'll explain later what I mean by our money, because it actually is not our money. So I will go to the introduction, and I will discuss how it affects us. Where are we? Where do we stand? So I call it the story of the 95ers. That's the bottom 95% of the financial food chain. And consider the fact that when we say fodder, we can go back to the rulers of thousands of years ago when we had serfs and we had barons. So it's actually a book about a desperation, about releasing myself from the shackles of entities, governments, individuals that affect my financial destiny. So I will try and keep the fear out, and I'm not going to get too much into statistics or exact numbers. So when I give a number, like for example, when I go to an article and I say that, oh, by the way, 63% of Americans don't have enough savings to cover a $500 emergency. I don't care if it's 63%, 60 or 70%, those numbers will change. So Forbes said that it was 63% on January 6, 2016. So this is what I'm talking about. This is not right. We as Americans should not be living like this. We should be living paycheck to paycheck. And a perfect example is now that the coronavirus has hit us and people out of jobs, they can't pay their bills the next month. We are a great country of prosperity, and the reason I'm an immigrant from Greece, so I came here to achieve something, and we can say that the American dream still exists because you can do anything you want. So I will take you down this path where we will try and discover what is money, what does it mean to us, how is it created, and what's happening today. I'll try and say, oh, by the way, did you notice the Fed did this today? These are perfect examples of all this acting out. This is a story that started in 450 BC with the ancient Athenians in Greece. They did the exact same thing. And the problem is that money or fiat currencies, from now on I'll refer to as fiat currencies, are actually just the creation of governments and the Federal Reserve. There's no such thing as a dollar. There's no backing to the dollar. The gold backing of the dollar was eliminated in 1971. So when some people say, oh, the dollar is backed by gold, it's not backed by gold. The dollar has no worth, and it's actually lost 97% of its value since 1913. So And then we discuss things like centralization and decentralization. Uh, Bitcoin is decentralized. There's nobody that controls Bitcoin. Money is centralized. It's controlled by governments. And when you put your money in the bank, it's actually not there. Because we'll discuss something like reserve banking, which means that they only required to keep 10% or approximately 10% of the money that you deposit. So if everybody went tomorrow to the bank to get their money, quote unquote, it wouldn't be there. So centralized systems are controlled by companies like Google, Facebook, Amazon. I don't know if you noticed this, but the internet was first designed to be a decentralized system. And now it's a centralized system, and it's because of these walled gardens of these companies that control all the data. So you owe it to yourself, I think, to understand money or currencies and technology as the two most important factors that impact our lives. And you have to understand that your true wealth, your individual true wealth, is your time and freedom. And what you do is you exchange that for fiat currency. And fiat currency is the currency that is distributed by the government. Fiat means let it be. So basically the government says, here's a piece of paper, it's $100, let it be $100 of dollars. And it was originally came from the Latin word, and it's described as the decree it shall be, or let it be done. And this just sounds crazy to me. Fiat currency is not backed by anything, has no intrinsic value. And also our monetary system or money is created from debt. We are a debt society. And our currency is backed by the full faith and credit of the US government. And it means that the government can print as many dollars as it wants. And the funny thing is, when I started writing this book a year and a half ago, I hadn't seen the extent of what the Federal Reserve can do by printing $3 trillion in I think a month. And then I watched 60 Minutes a couple of weeks ago, I think a month ago, and the Federal Reserve head was asked, do you just print the money? And he says, well, we don't really print it, we just add it to a computer. So they're just adding zeros to a computer and saying, okay, I just created $1 trillion and it's in the computer, so that's money. And basically they can do that for as long as they want, as much as they want. There's no limit. And also, I think the discrepancy between the have-nots and the haves is going to a level where it's, I think, socially unacceptable. I think we all have to coexist, and it depresses me when I see so many Americans that live in such stressful environments, not having enough money, spending all their money, and we're just taught to do that. Schools don't teach us about money. The government doesn't want us to learn about money or savings or not spending money. The key word is, spend everything you have and beyond. Borrow as much as you can, go into debt. And the funny thing is, in Greek, the word for work is doulia, and it actually means slavery. So, servitude, serfdom. So Greeks actually express work as slavery. And you're always taught to go to school, to get a college degree, get a good job, retire, and then what? Then you buy a house, you buy a car, have kids, bills start creeping up. You got health insurance, car insurance, life insurance, house insurance, and you get to the point where you just are stuck. There's no way out. And we need all this stuff. George Carlin, my favorite comedian, said, well, I bought a house so I could put my stuff, and then I went out and bought more stuff to put in my house. We don't need this stuff. We really don't. Um, so 80% of working Americans do not enjoy their work. 60% approximately live paycheck to paycheck. So I won't go into the details of the slaves and serfs and everything, and we will continue in the next chapter, chapter 1, the true meaning of money, and the secret of what it really means, and who knows what it means, and why do the majority of people in the world. So I won't even narrow this down to Americans. I think it's a worldwide phenomena, and it's done in every country. So I'm going to try and take you down this path. I hope you will learn. I really implore that you've tried to understand and maybe change some of your habits to realize that you have to take control of your life, your financial life, and take care of your children. Now, we're creating all this debt that we're just going to pass off to our children and grandchildren. It's not fair. It's wrong. I mean, I think it was Jefferson that said, he made a law back in, I don't know, 1780, where he said that no government will ever be allowed to create any debt that goes beyond their lifetime. The guy was so smart. And what have we done? We've done exactly that to infinity. Well, thank you very much, and I will see you on the next video.